Well, hello again. It's Monday. What is it? The 16th of December, 2024. It's going to be Christmas. I thought I'd just throw in my two bobs worth with regard to these drones. I've seen so much bloody rubbish all over the internet about these drones, you know. Nonsense perpetuated by the usual suspects. The piffle peddlers are all trying to talk it up, talk some intrigue into it, but of course I think there's nothing to it. I live right up in the air. I haven't seen a drone. None of my work colleagues have seen drones. There's nothing, none of this is happening in Australia at all. So it's drone hysteria. That's what it is, you know. I mean, I've seen footage on the internet. People are going, "Oh, look at that," you know, and you can see the light. It's a jet aircraft. You can even hear the jet engines, you know. And as I've seen other people say, don't people generally look up in the air at all? Aren't they aware that all this stuff is happening up in the air above them all the time? And what haven't been airliners have just been drones. They've got CAA approved or required and FAA required anti-collision lighting, navigation lighting, you know, green on the right, red on the left, white strobes, anti-collision lighting. It's all standard stuff. ET's not going to be remotely interested in being CAA or FAA compliant. It's complete and utter rubbish. So, you know, it's complete and utter rubbish that this could be anything other than it's either a foreign actor with drones being launched from submarines or a submarine or a ship off the coast, or it's people playing around with their drones and they're joining in the fun. You know, because most of the drone activity occurs between 6 p.m. and 11 p.m. What does that tell you? It tells you people get home from work, have a quick shower, let's go and have some fun with the drone, get people going, "Oh wow, ooh, see how many people film my drone and put it on YouTube." That's what it's all about. And of course it all stops at 11 p.m. because they have to pack their drone away and go back home and go to bed ready to be nice and fresh for work the following morning. This is a storm in a teacup. Yeah, Ross Coulthard and people like that trying to talk it up, get a bit of intrigue going. You know, try and create a little bit of hysteria. So people are looking up and they're seeing airliners and it's a drone. Oh no, you know, it's some sort of alien attack. And it's complete and utter rubbish. It's a storm in a teacup. Give it 2 months and no one will even remember this was going on. If I worked for, if I lived back in England, if I was still back in England and I worked for DI55, which is the people that should be looking into this in the UK, not the SAS or the SBS. What the hell are they going to know about anything? DI55 are the people that should be looking into it. Defence Intelligence Department 55, Aerospace Intelligence. Now, if I was in DI55 and my boss said to me, "Steve, go and get me one of these drones," he would have one on his desk by now. Guarantee it. You know, there might be some terrestrial adversary drones. Now, it's probably not beyond the realms of possibility, and I think they were looking for either a submarine or a ship off the wash, weren't they, in the UK? That these drones came from something offshore, either a submarine or a ship, and they came and had a look at Feltwell. Remember, there's no aircraft at Feltwell. That's an electronic intelligence gathering facility. It's a bit like a small Menwith Hill or a small Pine Gap. And the other two, of course, are operational airfields, air bases with aircraft, military aircraft. So it may be that there is a terrestrial adversary that's looking around. What a lot of people seem to overlook entirely is all this started just after the UK and the US gave permission for their missiles, for their long-range missiles, to be used inside Russia. Now, but Vladimir Putin's been jumping up and down about World War III, you know, and he's been making all these threats for a very long time. And it may be that he doesn't really want to push the button because he knows what will happen if he does. You know, he's going to get he's going to get a 100 kiloton enema if he does that, you know. I mean, the target is probably already done. You know, the submarines are sitting where they're supposed to be sitting, and the targets are already programmed in. All they've got to do is press the button and launch them, you know, just in case he does push the button. He knows that. He's not stupid. So it might be that he's just doing a bit of cage rattling, having a bit of fun by doing what he's doing. Just spook the Westerners. Make it appear that he's doing some precision target information gathering by operating some drones over some military bases. It might be something like that. It could also be the Chinese. Now, the Chinese apparently had a ship off the coast of America somewhere, and they actually tracked a swarm of drones from this ship over an American Air Force base and back to the ship. It's a bulk carrier called the Bass Strait. Now, I did check to see where the Bass Strait was, and it's not off the coast of England, and it hasn't been during this drone flap. But yeah, just think about it. You know, it's going to be. It may very well have started with some either Russian or Chinese intelligence gathering drones, and they were just pushing the buttons of the West, if you like. Remember, it's not going to be politically acceptable really for anyone to say we've identified them. There's a bushfire been going on over here. I've got the firefighting planes and helicopters flying over here fairly regularly. Yesterday it was like being in a Vietnam War movie. The whole house was shaking with these helicopters. Mind you, I did say, you know, I live up in the air. You know. But so just put a bit of thought to it. You know, it all started just after the UK and the US gave permission for their long-range missiles to be used inside Russia. Now, I'm going to steal this from the movie Air America. Do you remember this scene in Air America? Hello? Anyone home? That was the senator that was the senator after he asked the general to carry his luggage. Great film. If you haven't seen it, watch it. It's an old film, but it's a great film, I think. Air America. It makes war look fun. So, and I think that's what probably started it, you know. More and more people saw this on the television and they thought, let's have a bit of fun with the drones. Let's see how many people will film my drone, you know. You get the sort of clowns that used to make crop circles, you know, crop circle clubs. They've got bored of making crop circles. No one believes it anymore. So you probably find these clubs still meet in the pub, you know. Oh, yeah, well, okay, let's fly some drones around, you know. Let's fly. I keep getting stabbed with this by this spiky plant. It's not venomous. It's not true. Everything in Australia is not trying to kill you. It's not true. It really isn't. So, what was I saying? I've forgotten what I was saying there. What was I saying? Yeah, so, you know, these people are going to be running around. They're probably still meeting at the pub and having a few beers. They're going to say, oh, well, why don't we do that? You know, most of us have got drones. Why don't we fly them around and, you know, see if we can get them on the news? That's what it's going to be. You know. The other thing, too, is that the drones operate at legal drone operating altitudes. They're all seen below 400 feet. So it's in the time window of people coming home from work, 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. And the drones are operating mostly in legal airspace. Below 400 feet, and most of the activity is not over military installations. If there is activity over military installations, it's probably going to be from a submarine, a few drones from a submarine or a ship offshore. The Chinese recently launched a drone ship. That's its only purpose in life. You know, it's not like the Bass Straits, a bulk carrier, you know, with a drone swarm on it, and a small little crew of people that operate the drone swarm as a separate thing to the operation of the ship, which is carrying bulk. The Chinese have just launched a drone ship specifically for launching drones. So, put a line through any of this being ET. You know, it's the crop circle cretins, or it's just hobbyists, or it's people having a bit of fun getting home from work playing with their drones. ET would not have to get this close to any facility or equipment or system to glean all the information they wanted from it. If they can get here from another part of the galaxy, their technology will be such that they can glean any information on any installation or any piece of equipment from orbit. You know, they're any underground facility would be completely transparent to their sensors. This is the sort of technology we will be talking about. They will be able to look at energy density in nuclear weapons, energy density in nuclear power stations from orbit, you know, from 200 kilometres above the planet. We wouldn't even know they were there. We would be completely unaware of it. They wouldn't need to hover around in something as big as a car over a shed full of atom bombs. That sounds familiar. I might have said that in a previous video. But you know what I mean. You're talking about people that can get here from another part of the galaxy. We can't even imagine their technology. They're going to be able to see right down, you know, hundreds of feet into the planet at these underground military installations. They'll be able to measure what's going on inside the nuclear warheads. They'll be able to get precise measurements of energy density and all that sort of stuff. We would not even be aware of it. That's the sort of technology we're talking about. Yet all these piffle peddlers, Ross Coulthard and co, you know, they've got no clue. They've got no idea at all about any of this stuff. They're just peddling it because of the talk circuit, because they're selling books, TV appearances. That's all it is. I doubt any of them really believe it. So forget all the science fiction piffle peddling from Coulthard and co. Danny Sheehan's jumped on the bandwagon, as I haven't looked at much this week. There hasn't been very much this week that's caught my eye. It seems to have sort of gone a bit quiet on the piffle peddling front, apart from this drone stuff. So as I said, not a long video this one. Storm in a teacup. Don't worry about it. No one's going to be attacked by these things. It's not aliens. And, you know, if it is a foreign adversary taking a bit of a sniff around military bases, no one's going to want to admit it, because it's embarrassing, isn't it? You know, to say that a foreign adversary drone was flying over our air base. That's embarrassing. They're not going to admit. They're not going to admit that. Even if they've tracked it back to a ship or a submarine off the wash, or off the coast of the UK or America, you know, they're not going to admit it. So, drone hysteria. Forget all about it. It's a storm in a teacup. No one will remember any of this 2 months from now. February, March, no one is going to remember anything about all this drone rubbish. And I reckon this is going to go on probably, it might go on into the dark. This helicopters, I don't know if you could hear that in the background, helicopters and aircraft flying past the firefighting aircraft. But if I were to film them in the dark, you know, with no sound, oh wow, yeah, Ross Coulthard would be, oh. I'll tell you something interesting though. This is true. Now, I was watching some TV. I think this was last year, and it sounded like a couple of helicopters or something went over the house really low. You know, the whole place was shaking. I could hear the rotor blades hissing. That's how low they were. I came outside and I couldn't see anything. And I thought, now that's odd. You should have lighting on them, you know. Now, a mate of mine who lives, I don't know, probably 300 metres away, I called him. Now, he's got some professional equipment. This is not the sort of stuff you buy at Argus. He's got a proper, he works for the government. He's got a proper image intensifier, okay? So he switched on his image intensifier. He says, "Hey, Steve, it's three Black Hawks in close formation. They've got no lights on at all." He could see them clearly through his image intensifier. And they were just flying around in circles, just around this hilltop. Really low, as I say, so low the place was shaking, and I could hear the hissing of the rotor blades as they were cutting through the air. But I couldn't see anything personally. It was a moonless night. I couldn't see anything. But yeah, fortunately my mate had his super duper, as Donald Trump would say, image intensifier, and was able to see what was going on. That's an aside. As always, many thanks for watching. If you've struggled through the video all the way to this point, and maybe I'll catch you again.